Welcome on back, everybody, to another episode of Comic Conquest. This is gonna be an exciting video, August. Breakdown, review, predictions, a classic burp. Black Panther, Black Panther, Black Panther. That's my superhero. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever.
Let's get into this very emotional story.
The start of this movie, it's hard, right? Like, they have a lot to deal with.
It punches you right in the gut immediately.
Yeah, and of course we've had to deal with the passing of Chadwick Boseman, and they handle it as well as I think they could. I'm glad they didn't go for like a CGI like fake, or like they tried to do like a Princess Leia. I'm glad they chose what they wanted to do, and it works really well.
Yeah.
And it kind of leads straight into the beginning of Shuri's arc for this movie, which I really loved it, and it's a lack of faith, right? She has a lack of faith in the ancestral plane, and a lack of faith in not just like her culture, but herself also. And that was maybe one of my favorite parts of the movie, because I was able to relate a lot to that. She believes in technology so much, like this is how you solve your problems, and she struggles with her spirituality this whole movie. Of course, we get Namor, who I'll say is a great villain. Ryan Coogler, he doesn't miss on the villains. My top 3 MCU villains are probably all from Black Panther. Killmonger, of course, one of my favorite characters, and Namor was up there for me too. He was such a great character. I was a little worried about this twist they're doing on this character with Talo Khan and him being the Cuckoo Khan. It was great. I loved it.
Khan.
Yeah.
Khan. It's Cuckoo Khan.
Yeah.
El Niño Sin Amor is where he gets Namor from, by the way.
His origin's great. The way that they twisted the Atlanteans, the Talo Khan, with the vibranium and the what was his herb? It wasn't the heart-shaped herb. It was like
something else.
Something like a root or something.
I don't think it was a root growing from like a vibranium deposit or whatever.
Yeah.
That they found. It's like a cousin of the heart-shaped herb. That's
like,
the
it's
idea.
very like they're so like they mirror these two civilizations so well, like how they develop and how they grow, like, and the beauty within these two nations. And of course, when Shuri visits Talo Khan, you get to see like it's just good writing, like it's just quality writing, like you
it's
like
I don't know well or something.
Like it's almost like they meant for that to be like that.
It's almost like they were competent in what they were doing.
Yeah, which you can't say for every project that comes out, but this project, the writing is phenomenal, of course. And I feel like I've been talking. Do you have anything you want to add before?
No, you've been on a roll, bro. If you got the thoughts.
So they end up having the U.S. is every country is kind of like, we want vibranium, of course, because it's the strongest thing in the world. And we get that scene in the UN where they call in Queen Ramonda, and she's a badass this whole movie.
Oh my god, this is one of the best performances I've seen in the MCU.
Yeah, her performance, top tier. Of course,
she's gotta be nominated. She's gotta be nominated.
A year after T'Challa has died. And she's like, you guys think we're fucking weak. And at the same time, there's a French assault on one of the what do they call it? The outreach centers.
Yeah, an outreach center.
And then the Dora Milaje just whip ass.
Yeah.
And she brings him in, and it's a great scene. It's
a great show of power, and next time we'll return them dead.
The actual plot though is that the U.S. has a vibranium device of a finder, a vibranium finder.
Detector, yeah.
Detector, there you go. Finder.
You got there.
And they have a ship that's taken out by Wakandan.
Yeah.
They find out, so Wakanda is Namor comes to Ramonda and Shuri when they're on the beach, and he's like,
"Hey, let's be allies, guys. The U.S. They're looking for our vibranium. It's not very good. We should team up. You help me, I help you. You go find the scientists who made this."
And so Shuri and
Okoye.
Okoye go and they find the one and only August. Riri
Cole's
Williams.
favorite character, Riri Williams.
Hey, and I'll say something. You know what?
I'm very curious what your thoughts on Riri.
I didn't hate Riri Williams movie. I was like, okay, this character's doing just enough. Like they didn't overdo it. They didn't overdo it. It was just enough. Like it wasn't not enough, but it was just like the perfect amount for me.
I feel that's a beautiful sentiment for a majority of this movie, because there are a lot of themes and things that Hollywood and Marvel itself in general have been trying to push really hard in ways where people are like, oh, you're pushing, you're not doing it well.
Cancel.
But in this movie, they have this perfect balance where they show off like a character is smart or strong or like a badass without just saying it. It's like, here, look, boom, that makes sense.
This is kind of like when they go get Riri, it's kind of one of the first sequences with the whales and all this stuff where the U.S. government's collapsing. It's a great action sequence, and you get Okoye being a badass, and then this, of course, where they take Shuri. Anyway, there's the attack, and then Namor kind of offers to Shuri when he has her, and he's like, I heard what you said to your mom on the beach. He's like, you want to burn the world to the ground for them hurting you. I want to too. Like, let's unite Wakanda and Talokan and we'll do this. Shuri has like a moral dilemma. She's like, I don't know if this is right. I don't think this is right. Anyway, they rescue Shuri and she goes back to Wakanda, and Namor does not like that because they kill one of Talokan.
Yeah.
The Talo, what do they call him? Just Talo.
I don't remember.
Talokanis?
No.
Yeah, I know. That's a joke.
No.
They kill one of the
A citizen of Talokan is dead.
And that's kind of the spark for this like final. Well, it's not actually the final battle.
Like
the middle battle, like the climax point of this movie, like the build up.
Yeah.
It's like up the hill.
Yeah,
anyway,
we're getting there. It ignites a little bit of war. A war.
And this is where I was really surprised with the turn this movie took, because you're dealing with so much loss already, right? Like the pillar of their society is gone, and Namor kills Queen Ramonda.
He doesn't straight up kill her. He leads to her drowning. Okay, he doesn't hold her head.
And that shit is crazy, dog. When they killed Ramonda, I was like jaw to the floor. I was like, Shuri is alone.
Yeah, no, that's...
And she is broken.
Some straight up Peter Parker shit, bro.
And you see her just be broken. And you see her at the funeral and stuff, and it's crazy. This whole movie, they talk about her like spirituality, how she doesn't believe in that shit, and she finally realizes that they need a protector, they need a Black Panther, and with the bracelet that Namor gave, which is made of the root,
it's got the fibers.
She's able to synthesize heart-shaped herb.
Yeah.
And
which was burnt in the last movie, so that there was none, so no Black Panther couldn't happen, and so which also kind of ultimately leads to the death of T'Challa. Is that there isn't anything to heal him. So.
And this is where it got crazy, right? Because I said to you, August, before we watched this movie, I was like, if there's one thing I really want, is I want Killmonger to come back. And I knew that was wild. That was out there. Like, that was a kind of a stretch.
Yeah.
What they did, August, this is the craziest part to me. Like, Shuri doesn't believe in this. Like, she has so little faith. And when faith finally, like, shows itself, there's 3 people she wants to see, right? There's only really 3 people she wants to see. Her dad,
Mama,
her
Dad,
brother,
and bro.
And
she gets
they give her the middle finger.
Yeah.
You see Eric Killmonger.
Flipped out. He's having a good time. He
tells her what she needs to hear.
Yeah.
he talks about T'Challa. He talks about T'Chaka, her dad, and he talks about himself also. And you see like the balance. T'Challa, he's too honorable. T'Chaka, he was too much of a coward. I think he said.
Yeah.
And then he
but
kind of admits,
but T'Chaka got shit done.
Yeah.
Like that.
And then he kind of admits to himself like he was a little like he took what he wanted, and maybe that's not the right way either. But he also says he kind of leaves her with the mark that like this guy fucked your family, like you don't let that shit slide. And she's out for blood. Also, one of the hardest scenes of the movie is so everybody kind of leaves the main capital after it's destroyed, and they go to the mountains with M'Baku. And the hardest scene of this movie is probably her flying out of that plane and dropping in with the music and the thing and the
that scene goes hard. It's from the trailer, but the trailer
which I was
does
kind
not
of upset
ruin it.
about, man.
I was a little upset that
I felt like there was a lot of stuff in the trailers that
from the end. Yeah, there was. I definitely would have left like little to no Black Panther action in the trailers, I guess.
Yeah. Or like that one scene they teased at the first trailer was like enough for me. Like where
I was
they
like,
show
leave it.
Yeah.
Right there,
anyway.
bro.
So there's a lot of stuff in this movie that goes hard. Anyway, they end up making a plan to trap Namor in like a heat thing because then he can't touch the water.
Yeah, they're gonna dry him out.
It's the final battle of this movie, and it goes hard. I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah.
So they end up fighting, and then Shuri, of course, comes out on top. It's a crazy fight sequence. I think if you've seen it, it's superb.
Yeah.
And then kind of the wrap up of this movie is that which we will talk about more at the probably predictions of this video is Namor is drawing the thing on the wall of him fighting the Black Panther, and they're like, you just let her live like after she did this to us?
You let her beat like, your ass and you're just gonna roll over?
And he's like, you don't understand.
I'm playing 4D chess, bro.
Yeah. He's like,
4D.
The surface people are coming for Wakanda. And Wakanda gets hurt, who are they gonna come to? Talokan. Genius. The writing for Namor.
And then we'll burn it all down, and that's what we want, baby.
Namor's writing is just top notch. Like I don't even think he has that much dialogue in comparison to other characters.
Doesn't.
But
not really.
Anytime he speaks, it like brings attention. Like it brings like, you know what I'm saying? Anyway.
Yeah, no, he has a presence about him, and he is such he's not even a straight up villain too, which is the part.
That's
he's
the best
doing
part
it for his people. Like, I'm saving my people because the surface people are dicks. We are dicks. And they're gonna start coming after us, and apparently I haven't seen Black Adam, but apparently Namor is a better Black Adam than it took the 20 years to make Black Adam. So that's funny. It's funny.
So then you kind of see the yearly annual ceremony of them throning a new ruler or whatever. And they all expect Shuri to show up, and then she doesn't, and M'Baku comes out.
Yo, what's up?
I guess M'Baku's king now. They don't specifically say that, but that's what's implied.
Yeah,
also, in the ceremonious trial by combat, she would be stripped of her Black Panther powers, and M'Baku would beat her ass. I'm sorry to say it. There's no...
You are not wrong. At no point did what you say is wrong. Shuri shows that she goes into combat, but she's more of the scientist up until this point.
Yeah.
And nothing.
M'Baku's a straight warrior.
Yeah,
M'Baku's a great character in this movie.
Oh, he's fantastic.
And honestly, I almost wanted a little more M'Baku.
I think that's a sentiment that everybody shares, is more M'Baku, because he was so good every time. He's great.
And then she goes to
Haiti. I forgot how you say it. How you say it properly. I'm sorry.
Yeah. To go with
Nakia,
who's a villain in the comic. You guys didn't know.
She is.
Yep, she's one of T'Challa's rivals. Anyway, she's like a spy. She's a spy villain, and they kind of change her, and it doesn't matter.
Irrelevant.
And
Shuri goes to find Nakia so that she can complete this grieving process, do this ceremony kind of by herself, kind of just let it go, right? Because there's the ceremonial like burning of the robes and stuff like that. And, you know, it's a very nice ending, and that's kind of how it ends until you get a Rihanna song.
It ends great. Actually it ends with the sentiment like Shuri's fucking alone, like she's got no one.
Hey, Peter, this isn't your story. We know you're alone too. Jesus Christ. But yeah, Shuri's alone. All small children in the MCU will be alone by the end of.
Not just small children. Wanda's alone too. Like this.
All of the younger Avengers will be alone. That is a fact. End of Phase 5. Nobody makes it. Anyway. What is the post-credit scene? So the post-credit scene, we see Nakia come down. She's got this little boy by her side. She's like, "Hey, I want you to meet your Aunt Shuri." And I'm like, "Bro, what? Oh my god, that's crazy." Do you want to take it from here?
There's not a lot I have to say about it. Like T'Challa. So like. This gets more. Let's go to the review and I'll talk about it in predictions. How about that?
Okay.
Review this movie.
It's T'Challa's son, by the way. We didn't say that straight up, but it's his son.
It's T'Challa Jr.
T'Challa Jr. Literally. Or Hussein. Was it Hussein? I think it was
Hussein. Hussein. It was like a guy, a Haitian that led a revolt against the French. Anyway.
Yes. Yes. Review.
Loved it.
Fucking amazing.
Honestly. Maybe my number one Phase 4 movie. If we're talking about actual quality of writing, quality storytelling, not that Spider-Man No Way Home's not a quality storytelling, but it plays off a lot about your nostalgia and your emotions towards those characters.
Yes.
This stands by itself so well. It does.
You really, if anything, you need the first Black Panther movie, and that's it.
The direction and the writing, I want to give props to Ryan Coogler. There's probably a huge writing team for that movie because they wrote the original script and they weren't planning on what happened in the real world to happen, and they kind of played off their heel, and it works out really well. The writing in this movie, as I've said multiple times, is great. And of course, there's a lot as there was in the first Black Panther movie. There's a lot of great messaging and themes and twist in the writing.
They're executed perfectly.
There's nothing
I'm trying to do. Nothing
we won't go too
face.
much in depth, but if you've seen the movie, I think it's easy to pick up on.
You can pick it up on it, yeah.
Of course, the cinematography is great.
Fantastic.
The CGI is probably one of the better of the recent Marvel projects.
It's definitely getting better. I'm glad that they pulled it off of She-Hulk and into the Black Panther movie. Haha, that's a joke from the She-Hulk show.
So, with that,
yes,
I'm not gonna give it. I don't think I'm gonna give it a score. I think we're done doing scale scores for right now, and we'll come back to it. But for ranking, it's probably one of my favorite MCU movies. Let's get into predictions. So, do you have any predictions, August?
Predictions. I think Namor is going to try and go the route of, like, kind of being present a lot more, in terms of like in the background. Like, he'll start making associates so that people aren't like, "Hey, Talokan, what the fuck's going on? Are you guys being real suspicious?" I don't know. I feel like we're gonna see more of Namor being kind of present to just kind of.
One thing we completely skipped over: Namor calls himself a mutant.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that.
Completely skipped over that.
I was gonna get to that.
Not that he's associated with mutants a lot. Like, he has more time with the Fantastic Four and the Avengers than the X-Men. But he does confirm he's a mutant as that's building up. We also completely skipped over Val's in this movie, who I actually kind of wasn't expecting.
Yes, Val, Contessa, all of her, Defontaine, whatever the fuck it is. She is in this, and she was apparently married to
Everett Ross.
Yes, Everett Ross, who's in this very shortly. He's very good at when he's there.
And then he gets broken out by
he gets arrested.
Fallen Angels not the Guardian Angels of Wakanda.
Wakanda, yeah. But yeah, Contessa's there. I think she's gonna be the Nick Fury of Phase 5, honestly. Like an evil.
So there's a couple things. First of all, Thunderbolts. I think it's going to be a mission for vibranium or something. Like I just don't see it any other way. It's going to be for some advancement of technology or something that Val wants.
If it is a mission for vibranium, I think Bucky is a double agent on the team.
That's a great point.
There is no way.
Chance. Bucky is so. You're right. Bucky would be loyal to Wakanda.
There's no capacity that I see Bucky being like, you know what? Fuck the Wakandans. Yeah. None. So he's definitely either they put him in that lineup because he's going against the Thunderbolts, or he's a double agent the Thunderbolts.
I could definitely see the double agent thing.
Yeah.
Of course, before I forget, Riri Williams. At the end of the movie, she has this moment with Shuri where she gets her dad's car back.
Yeah.
But she's not allowed to leave with the suit.
Yeah.
Of course, that kind of just sets up the show because I think I was actually a little worried about this, that she would take leaps and bounds for her character, and then we'd get the Ironheart show, and you're like, what the fuck is happening here? They kind of put her back at square one for us so they could build her character back up.
It's a logical thing that they did to get to her, because we've seen the physical suit, which looks cool, by the way. I dig this junkyard Iron Man. So yeah, I think it was a great way to do it. I guess Riri Williams is dealing with magic. I don't know a lot about Riri.
That's crazy. Yeah, but, that's wild.
Sure, why not? Yeah, in terms of her connections with Iron Man, I'm glad that she wasn't like, well, I was a Stark sponsored. I would have been like, oh.
Yeah, they kind of just quickly said Shuri was like, Stark
Is that
Tech?
Stark Tech? And you know what? It makes sense. If a smart person wanted to use...
Well, it makes more sense.
Smart people would be attracted to smart.
Well, no, I was going to say it makes more sense because she goes to MIT and Tony went to MIT.
That too.
And he sponsors a lot of MIT projects, or at least his foundation does. He's not alive anymore.
That's true.
So yeah.
Yeah. I'm just all I'm saying is I'm glad it wasn't like, well, Iron Man saved my dad one day, and so from then on I decided I'm gonna be the no. It's just like, oh, Stark Tech. Anyway,
Perfect.
that's it.
I don't want to get to T'Challa's son yet. Actually, let's just go into it.
Yeah, please.
So first of all, Shuri is not. She is the protector of Wakanda, the Black Panther, but she is not the ruler of Wakanda. Who I think is implied to be M'Baku right now. The way I see this is that that's gonna be for until at least after Avengers, the next Avengers movie.
Yeah, I think the next time we see Wakanda in a serious fashion is when Shuri will take the throne. But
I actually don't think Shuri will ever take the throne. I think they will have her be just the protector and the Black Panther and the scientist of Wakanda, and she'll probably be on the council of Wakanda. I don't think she'll take the throne. I think T'Challa's son will probably take the throne from M'Baku. I don't know what their plan is fully. Like, they could do a shitload of stuff because of Secret Wars.
Yeah.
Where his kid was actually rather old. Which surprised me. I was expecting like a 6-year-old. He was probably about 10 or 11.
Well, you got to remember that there was before the blip. I'm assuming that the kid was born before the blip, maybe.
Wait, he had to be born way before because he was way older than 5.
Yeah, it was probably just.
He was at least 8 or 10.
Yeah, but then there was the blip. And that means T'Challa was probably gone for a while.
For 5 years. I think the original plot of this movie was that he was going to be grieving over missing 5 years of his son's life. I might be wrong.
That'd be interesting. That would have been interesting.
Because, of course, Phase 4 is all about grief.
About grief and
sadness
loss
for
and...
some goddamn reason because I'm not sad enough, Marvel.
Hey, it's because the last ones have been a joy-filled adventure through these wacky circumstances.
So I think he will take the throne in whatever way that happens. If in Secret Wars they decide to age him up like they did, or like another variant of him or something. I don't know what the fuck is gonna happen in Secret Wars.
Kang Dynasty could also lead to an age up because Kang is time travel.
That's true.
Unless they're changing Kang to just interdimensional. But wait, I don't know.
They confirmed time. They confirmed time travel.
No,
right?
never mind. I'll shut the fuck up.
So there's that, and of course in the comics, T'Challa's son he actually has a son with Storm, and he's a mutant with Storm's powers, and he's Black Panther powers.
He was in that one movie.
Yeah, he's in the Young Avengers animated movie. If you guys ever seen that, that's a deep cut for a lot of people, though. I guess.
I love that movie though.
I
forget his name.
So he's not going to be a mutant, obviously. I don't think.
Yeah, because
they could do some crazy shit, but I don't think they will.
Guess what?
I just think he'll be T'Challa's son.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much it.
I think there isn't a whole ton like.
I think Wakanda played a big part in those Avengers movies, of course. Like, and dealing with Bucky, I think they're probably gonna take a step back with their involvement after this whole ordeal.
Anyway, guys, that's gonna kind of do it for the Wakanda Forever. I know Cole kind of led the charge on this one, but that's just because he was on a fucking roll. Like,
I love this movie, man. It was great, such a great movie.
Fantastic movie. But let us know your thoughts if you have any theories or anything. I guess leave it down in the comments. Remember, subscribe, all that mushy YouTube.
Okay,
shit.
Stop! I just remembered something. I'll put your outro in. In.